Growing up, there is no way for me to honestly know the exact moment when I know I'm trans. What I do know is that it is best not to think about it. I believe I'm going to be struck dead for admitting to my diary that I have a crush on my best friend. I tear out the page and burn it. Being raised as a Jehovah's Witness, there are only absolutes, no gray areas, just all in or all out. Our finish line is death by natural causes or a fiery Armageddon. Then there's heaven, where 144,000 will rule with Jesus and Jehovah, or a park-like garden on earth, where you could play with tigers and pandas and never have any stress. At 8, I recall learning this piece of information while sitting through a meeting at the Kingdom Hall. As a product of a single mother, my sister and I are pariahs in the organization. We are a cautionary tale and deemed bad association because of not having a father to lead our family. I know I am not accepted and grieve. I feel like my only option after escaping this world full of evil is to live forever in a world full of mean, judgmental people who never invite me over to their backyard cookouts or trips to the amusement park. An eternity of being left out and isolated. There is isolation in the Kingdom Hall, and there is isolation from other kids. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate holidays, not even birthdays. We have no fun. When another kid has a birthday and somebody bakes them cupcakes or brownies to share, we have to go to the library and sit it out. I'm a kid. I want a cupcake. My whole life, I'm like, let me get some sugar, please. It's another thing that makes me separate. I'm always on the outs. What's worse is that wayward witnesses are shunned from their families of origin as well. It's so our influence doesn't rub off on them, which in turn will transmit our apostasy to the vulnerable congregation members. An apostate is a person who renounces their religion, someone who outwardly denounces the Jehovah's Witnesses. But for us, it's like someone is trying to take you away, trying to get you to worship the devil. I hear others gossiping about so-and-so who went apostate. Oh no, apostate? Lock the doors. My choices are limited and dismal. And the world is so scary. The world is what we call anyone or anything not in the truth, which is shorthand for Jehovah's Witnesses. If I make friends with people who are not in the truth, I will probably end up pregnant or on drugs. My mom is born and raised in the truth and still gets pregnant with me at 16. Her dad, unlike mine, has never been in the truth. He has been in her life, raising her along with her two brothers and raising my sister and me along with my grandmother. Unlike my father and the other men in the truth, my grandfather is nice and he loves me. Is it the isolation that causes me to finally leave? Or is it the toxic masculinity that is the foundation of the entire faith? There are 3 times I'm taken to the back room to be questioned by the elders. Once, it's regarding rumors about my sexuality, where I lie straight-faced about what I did in the hotel room during the convention weekend. The second time, I'm questioned about my decision to go to the local university after my high school graduation. I'm warned about the stumbling blocks I will face there. Why college, they ask? Armageddon is right around the corner. It's pointless. Why would you waste your time? They continue. You're pretty, and you can marry one of the brothers and focus your time on the ministry. I make it into the university at Buffalo and begin to meet people who really like me. They don't ask me about my Bible reading habits, how many hours I spend going door to door, or whether or not my nuclear family is intact. They aren't murderers or dangerous or violent. I have the time of my life, learning to think critically, getting to know myself and others outside of the confines of my high control religious sect. I'm coming out of myself like a shelter pet who gets adopted by a loving companion. During my first semester, I am an English major who is known for getting straight A's. The weed man on campus is friends with my friends and wants to trade weed for my help in writing a paper. But that isn't all I'm in for. He rapes me. My sheltered youth never prepared me for that. I go down a spiral. They were right. It is my fault for eschewing the Christian values and rules that I have been taught my whole life. How can I expect to lean on my own understanding and have a good life? I feel like I am nobody and the elders have all the answers. The third and final time I meet with the elders in the back room where the paneled walls have no windows. It's the winter break after my first semester at college. I tell them I want to dedicate my life to Jehovah. I have tasted the world and it is bitter. In 1999, I am baptized at the next convention, but I am already asking questions about what the meaning behind things is. Are there really going to be lions and pandas in Buffalo? We're just going to be out here playing with animals. This shit is weird, and I don't know if it makes sense. I feel a shift, and that's when I leave. The following semester, with the help of my therapist, I began peeling back the layers of my trauma, all of it. Not just the rape, but the religious and familial trauma. I go to group therapy and meet other survivors who are victims, which helps me see my blamelessness as well. I slowly start to trust myself again, trusting myself to make choices that suit me. In April 2005, after graduating and moving to Washington, D.C., I'm riding the red line to a dead end job with a horrible boss and miss my stop. When I arrive at Farragut North, the doors open, but I stay on. I get off a few stops later, and with tears obstructing my view, I call Whitman Walker Clinic. I know I need to process the trauma that made me leave my city of origin in the first place, but instead, I make an appointment with a therapist to discuss my gender identity. I can't say that I've known from birth that I am trans. The truth is, my very strict Jehovah's Witness upbringing didn't let me start thinking about my gender being anything but female, girl, woman. We're full, the secretary tells me, but she can tell from my affect that I need to be seen as soon as possible. So she fits me in. These days, they want you to be really, really sure that you're trans, that you were born in the wrong body in order to get a prescription for hormones. I'm able to convince the doctors. I don't need someone else to run my life, hoping that it will pay off in the end. I create my own destiny and do it for myself. There is no life without risk, and there is no reward without sacrifice. I stop waiting to die in order to live.
Yes.